Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Black Friday Live. I'm your host, Dr. Mateen Diop. Again, where we bring you the hottest news, the hottest events, the hottest businesses, all in Alamo City. And today is no different. I have with you my man, Brother Byron Miller, to talk about a few things. But first, man, I kind of want to know what's going on with you and how you been.
Dr. Mateen Diop, I've been doing just great.
You've been doing great.
And I like to tell people, just, same as usual,
okay.
which is good, which is great.
Okay.
God's been good to me.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir. Byron has been in the community for so long that he does so many different things. Today we're going to be talking about Juneteenth and its significance in San Antonio and the events that he has coming up. But like I mentioned to you, Byron, we were talking about Juneteenth. Kind of tell us, what is the historical significance of Juneteenth?
Well, as you know, I'm going to start with the Constitution. Okay. In the Constitution, people of African descent were mentioned as 3/5. And it was a compromise because the southern states needed it for apportionment. Mm-hmm. In other words, they needed the people of African descent to be counted, even though they were slaves, so they could get congressional representation. As a result, the Dred Scott decision was a decision that not only indicated and that made us 3/5, which is less than human, yes, but it also made us property. Mm-hmm. And it made us property that could be inherited. Mm-hmm. And so that was what the whole issue about slavery in the South and the Civil War. Mm-hmm. Now, some will say, well, it wasn't about slavery, it was about property rights, mm-hmm, because we were being able to be owned by another person. And they could then will us from generation to generation. And so it was something that was the dark side of America. Mm-hmm. But nevertheless, it's the America that we respect, we fought for, and that we love. Now, what's interesting is that these people of African descent weren't citizens, mm-hmm, but they were law-abiding people. Mm-hmm. The law of the land at the time was that they were not free men, mm-hmm, they were enslaved. Mm-hmm. And so the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, people think was the saving document. Mm-hmm. It really wasn't. Okay. It freed nobody. If you ever read it, it freed the slaves in the South, but not the North. Okay. And it freed the slaves so there wouldn't be insurrection, so they wouldn't fight with the South, mm-hmm, with the promise of freedom. Okay. And so the Civil War is over. Lee has surrendered at Appomattox. Abraham Lincoln's been assassinated, but yet still there's slaves in Texas. Mm-hmm. And they were going to let those slaves go. Texas was detached from the Union or the Confederacy. And so there was a couple of wars fought here, mm-hmm, but for the most part, most of the slaves states, South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, they sent their slaves to Texas. Because, mm-hmm, again, property. They're trying to protect their property. Okay. So in 1865, June 18th, mm-hmm, Major General Gordon Granger, mm-hmm, sailed into Galveston Bay, because, mm-hmm, they didn't come overland, they come through the bay, and then to read on June 19th, under General Order Number 3, all slaves were free. And so you think about it, when you told a man that he was free, and that's why they wouldn't let him read, mm-hmm, they wouldn't let him come together and have conversations about issues, they kept it from him. Because no man that he knows he's free is going to be able to stay, and you can keep him on that plantation.
So I was always interested, like our brothers and sisters in the North, there was always this friendly argument that Texans celebrate Juneteenth. You found out late that you were free late. What is that? Explain what that means.
Well, let me tell you, it's very interesting. We did find out late, mm-hmm, but we weren't the last state. People don't realize Delaware up north was the last state, oh, wow, to release their slaves. Mm-hmm. But what's interesting about it is starting in 1865 and 1866, major celebrations started to occur. Mm-hmm. San Antonio was the second largest city in Texas, Galveston being the first, and San Antonio. So we started with major celebrations that started to occur, and we've been celebrating ever since. Unfortunately, in urban areas, the 19th of June started to take on a different air. And people, even in Texas, started to be ashamed of it. Not in rural areas, but in the urban areas. And so they started to celebrate the 4th of July. Right. Now, if you know anything about Frederick Douglass, right, Frederick Douglass said, why would a person of African descent celebrate the 4th of July? You already heard me say the Constitution already had its 3/5. So what were we celebrating? But as we try to, be more a part of the United States and its culture, which is nothing wrong with that, then we took on those ways and we took on that celebration. San Antonio currently has the largest urban celebration in the state of Texas, but not in the country. There are other urban cities that have larger celebrations than San Antonio.
Wow.
And because Texans have gone throughout the world and throughout the country, and wherever you know a Texan goes, you're gonna throw down.
So you mentioned the celebration. So we have the Juneteenth celebration coming up here shortly. So you mentioned just the celebration in San Antonio. How long have you been putting on the Juneteenth celebration here in the city?
Well, I was actually appointed to serve on the Juneteenth Emancipation Historic Commission Board by then Governor Bush, and then reappointed by Governor Perry. And I'm going to tell you how long I've been, but one of the things I must tell you is our mission was to put a monument on the state grounds. Now, if you've ever been to the state grounds in Austin, you know there's only Confederate soldiers.
Right.
Well, you know now there's a freedom monument on the state grounds that commemorate people of color. It's on the southern end, on the Congress end, and it's something to behold. So that was one of the things that we were able to do. I've been doing these here in San Antonio where I've taken a major been the force behind for 24 years now.
Really?
24 years.
So you used to do something out of Comanche Park and all that. I mean, in the last few years, it's grown. I mean, it's pretty big now.
Well, it is. It actually started when I was on the board at the Coliseum.
Okay.
So that was the first year. So I started at the Coliseum. We moved from the Coliseum to the Carver. From the Carver, we went down to the Via Parking Ride in St. Paul Square. From there, we then went to Comanche Park, and we've been there. Well, I'll take that back. For a couple of years, we moved it to St. Paul Square. At the Sunset Station.
Right.
Because they were very open and letting us participate with that.
Okay, so this is year 24?
This year 24.
24. So what do we have? We'll talk about what's going to happen June 2019 Juneteenth Festival. What's going to happen?
Well, first of all, we've already had our Juneteenth pageant. And that was on June 1st. So we've already crowned our Little Miss Juneteenth, our Mr. Juneteenth for the first time. And now on the 14th, we'll have a beginnings of the festival for the weekend. And so we'll start out with the Flotilla Boat and Social Club. They'll have the big fish fry. We'll have booths. We'll have music. We'll have a band by the name of The Clue featuring The Network. And that's a good band. And so they're a local group. In fact, one of your employees and fellow workers, Marlon Davis, he's part of it. Vernon Lott,
all those guys. So you're bringing the music back now.
Well, it's going to be so, we want to make sure we take care of people in the community. Now, there's going to be lots of music on that day, but there's also going to be vending booths. There'll be companies that come out with their goods and wares. And then on Saturday, we'll then have a health fair with Chi Eta Phi, which is a nursing sorority. We'll be conducting that. I've got Dr. Milton Harris with the 100 Black Men. We're going to have a job fair. We're going to have a number of people out there. We'll have somebody from the Border Patrol talking about jobs.
And so this is more than just a celebration. This is like a celebration with a purpose.
A party with a purpose. And so I think you'll be talking to Mr. Oscar Vicks and Vera Young, but they're the ones who initiate the parade. So the parade will start at Sam Houston and it'll end up at Comanche Park. And we'll have an opening ceremony, say around noon. But it's going to be a day of fun, entertainment. There'll be a domino contest. There'll be a lot of things going on. A lot of people say that they can't wait each year for this event because they see each other. It's like a reunion picnic.
Like a reunion.
Yeah.
Will you have Big Red? That's what I want to know.
Man, there'll be some Big Red. I think Little Red will be there too.
But you got to have the barbecue in Big Red, right? That's a staple.
And a little watermelon too. So I think we may one year have to have a seed spitting contest.
Oh man, that's what they used to do though.
Well, they do it at Luling, I think, at the Watermelon Thump. Yeah, but anyway, it's a great thing.
You have done so much for Juneteenth. Besides June 19th being my birthday, it really is a huge thing, but you've done so much with it, and I really just want to commend you for what you're doing and continue to keep on doing what you're doing for the community. So we have June 14th, June 15th. We have Brick. Talk about some of these people that are coming here, man. You got some people coming here.
Actually, Brick, they've been here before.
Okay.
Brick is originated out of Atlanta.
Okay.
These were students at Morris Brown College. You know, I'm a Morehouse
You're a Morehouse guy.
And so Morris Brown, and they're excellent musicians.
Okay.
And so they'll be that main headline. You got Carlton King. He'd be upset, Carlton, if I don't mention your name.
Okay.
Carlton King, you know, and he'll be performing and opening up. And so it's going to be a lot of music. During the day, we'll have youth groups and all types of youth performing from singing, dancing.
Just all of that. So Brick is the 15th of June?
That's going to be the 15th.
And it's going to be, all of this is going to be held where?
At Comanche Park, which is 2600 Rigsby Avenue, Comanche Park number 2.
Park. You just heard it from my man Byron Miller, the 24th annual Juneteenth Festival, going to be going down San Antonio, Texas, June 14, 15, Comanche Park. Byron Miller, come on out, hydrate, get some water, get ready to eat, drink, and be merry and celebrate a party with a purpose, Juneteenth. You heard it from Byron Miller. This is Black Friday Live. I'm your host, Dr. Mateen Diop. Peace.
Nothing to do this week? Don't miss another event. Go to blacksinsanantonio.com for our event calendar. The home of the largest business directory in San Antonio with an African-American focus. Sign up today for our weekly e-blast and text message alerts. Help us make this a better community. Connect, empower, grow.
And we're back with Byron Miller talking about Juneteenth 2019. On the first side of the break, Mr. Miller, we were talking about the events happening June 14th, 15th. You have Brick and all these musicians and all that's going on. But you have you're adding another part to the Juneteenth Festival. What is that all about?
Well, after 24 years, we've set the foundation where we're now going to rebrand the Texas San Antonio Juneteenth Association to the Texas Freedom Festival.
Okay.
Here in San Antonio, you know, we have, which we're celebrating now, the Texas Folklife Festival,
right,
which is the first week in June. Mm-hmm. Well, after that, there's nothing really going on in this area until the 4th of July. Okay. And so as we celebrate the 19th of June, we're rebranding to the Texas Freedom Festival, we'll be having a first ever blues festival in New Braunfels, Texas. Oh. And it'll take place at the Civic Center and Convention Center. And it's going to be on June 28th. Okay. And so we've got a whole host of great entertainment, some of that Southern Soul from Kenny Wayne, Theo Huff, Ruben V, and Miss Jessie Terrell. Okay. And you talking about a good time. And so it's going to be exciting, and we're just pleased to have this lineup and to be in the Civic Center in New Braunfels. Now, the reason why I'm so excited, it's such a nice venue.
Yeah. Braunfels is a nice city.
It's just a few minutes away. You know, I was just in Atlanta a few weeks ago, and you know, when you start looking at how far things are, nothing's in Atlanta City. Right. It's in the surrounding areas. Same thing with Houston. And so people think, oh, it's too far. Well, from my house, I live on the eastern end of San Antonio. It's 20 minutes. And so it's just a hop, skip, and jump. It's an easy ride up 35.
It's hard to live like you, Byron. I mean, you got the mansion and all those, us commoners. I mean, come on now.
Well, let me tell you this. Remember at the beginning I said God's been good. So God has been good. But with that being said, you know, God has kind of given me this vision that we need to have an event that's similar to the Essence Festival. Yes, sir. And so where we talk about ideas. And one of the things that I'm really looking at is how we can brand this Freedom Festival to be themed conflict resolution. Again, when we think about the Civil War, we think about the black and white divide. We think about now even the brown divide and the black divide sometimes are occurring. We need to have conflict resolution where we can come together and start to understand each other. So the study of people is something that needs to occur, that we need to start to understand each other so we can then move forward. So with this event, it's going to be a cultural event, but it's something that I think that the city of San Antonio, the city of New Braunfels, city of Seguin is also being a part of, but their Convention and Visitors Bureau, we try to fill up rooms and hotels. I do have a new media partner now, which is Sinclair. And so they go from the Valley to Oklahoma City, from Houston to El Paso. So we've got the media outlet to really start to help us. And of course, with what you all do, this goes around the world.
Right.
So this is international.
So the Texas now Juneteenth is now officially branded the Texas Freedom Festival from the 14th all the way basically to the 28th.
Correct.
Okay. So we're going to be in New Braunfels, Texas on June 28th. We got Kenny Wayne and all these other artists coming in. Is this something that's going to continue? This is the first year for the second part of the fest, or is this something in your one and shot?
Well, it's up to the listening audience, because if y'all don't support it, then we can't make it happen. And so, it's a nominal fee, and what I'm looking for is good support so we can then branch out. There's not enough that happens here in San Antonio for us anyway.
Yes, sir.
And when I say us, sometimes I'm talking about the African American community. Sometimes I'm talking about the East Side community. Sometimes I'm just talking about the people of San Antonio as a whole.
Okay.
And so not on this level. And we're looking to do this. We can do it more often, but we have to have the support of the people. So if you got to come out, you got to support us, and we'll support you.
Well, you've heard it all from Mr. Byron Miller. You have the Texas Freedom Festival, Juneteenth happening June 14th, 15th, June 28th. We have all sorts of things going on now. Is there a website somebody can get more information? What's
Absolutely,
that website?
absolutely. It's JuneteenthSanAntonio.com. We also have a Facebook, but you can buy your tickets on Eventbrite. And so if you'll go to Eventbrite, you can get those tickets, and we really need to pick up the pace on selling these tickets. I know this is a walk-up city. There'll be tickets available when you get there. It's limited seating, and so you don't want to get there and there not be a seat for you. So get your tickets now. Very nominal fee, $25. And so you'll enjoy yourself. There'll be great food. I've got barbecue. I've got fish, fried fish, sandwiches, and we got a cash bar along with soda and water.
Well, you just heard it all from Mr. Byron Miller. We got it coming on. So one of the patriarchs of the San Antonio East Side community, but really the community as a whole, doing a whole lot. Really proud of him. Proud to call him my friend. So get your tickets, go to Eventbrite, do what you have to do to go to and support Texas Freedom Festival 2019. Thank you for tuning in to Black Friday Live. I'm your host, Dr. Mateen Diop. We'll see you next time.